Hello, folks, and Trekosophy is back, and it's open mic night. Joining me tonight, we have Brandon Kirby.
How many Cardassians does it take to change a light bulb? It depends on how many lights you see.
Also, we have our technical guru, Chris McGee.
How many Klingons does it take to change a light bulb? None. Klingons aren't afraid of the dark.
And our fearless leader, Ben McLean.
So, a Klingon, a Romulan, and a Vulcan walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "Holy Q, it must be a Star Trek joke."
And I thought about doing a joke, but I really can't top any of those, so there's only one thing I can think of to say at this point. Live from New York, it's Trekosophy Night! I know our fans have missed us, or I know our fan has missed us. But yes, after our season finale, and we really should work on doing a cliffhanger at some point. After our season finale, we're back for another exciting, or another season of Trekosophy.
Should we have like a recap of last time on Trekosophy?
Trekosophy,
Yeah, but I was...
Season 3 will ride! It will boldly impinge qualia on your universally intersubjective experience, which will eventually become universal because we will conquer all possible worlds.
Bitchin'.
So, yeah, it looks like Ben's been reading a lot of XKCD on his winter hiatus.
I just thought I'd throw a bunch of just random philosophy lingo in there.
Totally works. So what we're going to do tonight, since, I wasn't here to say how the season ended. How was the season ending, folks? Was it good?
Oh, we proved that androids have hearts, that the holodeck makes disposable people, and that Canada is in fact a country.
Well, our work is done here. That's all for tonight, folks. Goodbye. No, I kid. Last season was good, yes? We enjoyed it. We learned some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
None of us ever remember.
Says the person who drinks every episode.
He doesn't have a problem. As long as it doesn't run out, there's no problems.
He knows when to quit, when the bottle's empty.
That's right.
Now
drink it is not there.
Now I'm going to have to start playing that closing time song, you know? Closing time. You know that song?
Yes, I'll bet you all didn't know that Ben was actually a halfway decent musician.
Yes, I am.
He can philosophize and play some guitar.
Yes, I am the. Some call me the
Space Cowboy,
and some call me the Vulcan of Love.
There you go. So that's looking behind. I know we still have some listeners, or I know we have a listener, because she keeps saying, when's the show coming back? When's the show coming back?
Yes, this is a tribute to our listeners, all one of them.
I know there are others out there, and we're gonna find a way to bring them out and get the word out.
No, we aren't.
So Brandon, what were you doing
Yes,
over
sir?
your break?
Oh, sweet merciful crap. I had a lot of fun over the Christmas break. Went on a bit of a bender, but I went on a study of the Book of Revelation. For some reason, I couldn't put that book down, and I was analyzing and dissecting every symbol in that stinker. And I find that it goes hand in hand with Star Trek because, well, not with Star Trek specifically. the concept of imagery and imagination was so much excited
Yeah,
when I was
presumably
doing that.
You're talking about the Book of Revelation in the Bible's New Testament, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, just want to clarify that for our audience.
Book of Revelation, Apocalypse. But whenever I'd finish it, I'd have to go watch an episode of Star Trek. It's like you have a cigarette after getting laid. My imagination was so excited by it, I had to do that. So anyways, that's pretty much what I spent most of my Christmas break doing. It's always good to see friends that you never see any other time of the year, but you still want to keep in touch with. It was nice. It was pretty relaxing. In terms of intellectually, that's what I was up to.
I was over at my sister's house. I got to hold my nephew, and he's about 6 months old. And he was trying to eat one of his books, and I was like, "You should have named him John."
Eating the
In joke for people who have read the Book of Revelations, Saint John eats a book.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've read that.
Yeah.
Well, a scroll.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, close enough.
And there's a common term for when you throw something back on the previous joke. Callback, that's what it is. Nice use of callback.
Okay. Well, that actually happened.
Use, yeah.
I didn't make that up, even though it actually happened.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that's...
Here on Trekosophy, the jokes are accidental.
See, I always thought the jokes were on purpose and the philosophy was accidental.
Yeah.
No, I
how
think
much
we
we've
get
had to
laughed
drink.
at. I don't think people are laughing with us. I think they're laughing at us.
Hey, as long as they're laughing, as long as they're tuning in.
Well, let's see. What did I do over the winter break? Well, I got blisters on my fingers from the guitar, and I found every single Riddler trophy in Batman Arkham City. And that's like 300 something. There's a crap ton of those, and some of them are really difficult. So, yeah. And I got every single achievement in the Stanley Parable, too. Also. Which, that's a philosophy game on Steam. I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen the Stanley Parable on Steam. You definitely should check that out. It is an awesome, hilariously funny philosophy-related game.
I'll wait for it to go on a deep discount sale first.
I think that's kind of when I got it. It was like $11 or something. I think it's still that. I'm not sure, though. No, I got it when it was half off, so I got it for like $5 or something.
Mm.
Well, anyway, it's pretty awesome. I actually have been emailing the developer. I'm looking at possibly doing a demake of it, because it's kind of like an interactive fiction game, like Zork back in the day. And I'm thinking of actually going and doing a demake of the entire game.
Played Zork yesterday.
Oh, cool! I love Zork.
Were you eaten by a grue?
Thankfully, no. I managed to keep my lamp on.
Well, I'm thinking of trying to do a demake of the entire game, the Stanley Parable, as an interactive fiction Zork style.
Choose your own adventure.
Well, no, it's Zork style. It's not choose your own.
Oh, that's okay. Text adventure.
I might end up writing a Zork style. There's a programming language for doing it, actually, and it's amazing. It's called Inform, and it's the most natural English-like programming language. And it's a real programming language. It's not a joke. The most natural English-like programming language ever. It's really awesome. It just makes your brain just go, wow, I can't believe people were awesome enough to make this happen. If you look at it. Anyway. And basically the bottom line is I didn't get my Abolition of Man video done. I did some work on it, but I didn't get it done. So I'm still working on that. For all 7 people across the world who are interested in that. Actually, I think I've had quite a few people emailing me about it, or not emailing, commenting about it, and saying, when's part 3 going to be up? It's really discouraging when you lose your work, and I did last year, and as a result, I haven't really got as much done on that as I should have. Anyway, that's my boring life. What about you, Chris? What did you do over winter break?
Well, I did have quite a bit of a break from from work and from Trekosophy. I mostly spent the time playing some Pathfinder at our local gaming store, playing some games on Steam that I had been neglecting, GOG as well, and for example, as I mentioned, Zork, just played last night. Finally finished that game for the first time in my life.
Fun.
Oh, wow.
What else have I done lately? Oh, also, of course, reading up on Java, preparing to do some serious programming at work now that they've hired me on full-time finally and given me some more responsibilities there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And a little bit of a raise, too. So I can't complain, I guess. Well, I could, but it wouldn't do any good. That's about it. How about yourself, Bill? The one who has been the most mysterious and absent of all of us.
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff pile up on me at once. Still trying to sell the house, still looking for a job. Over the break, I did a lot of that and caught up with family and found out my dog did not have a tumor, which was a great relief to all of us.
Yay.
Show related, I finished watching all of Voyager, so I've got it somewhat fresher in my mind. I'm working my way through TNG again. And then I'm going to hit up Enterprise, because I think I missed a bunch in the middle when I just kind of was like, because I remember alien space Nazis invading America, and then I was like, I can't do it anymore. But I want to do it because it has these great moments nestled in space Nazis. But otherwise, Trek related, I've been still trying to line up an artist to make the great Star Trek comic book I have envisioned with a Starfleet superhero type. And occasionally popping on Facebook and hitting the forum groups. Every time somebody says, what would you like to see in the next series of Star Trek? I post a little link to our Season 1, Episode 13, where we all had our pitch of show ideas, trying to stir up a following for this little podcast.
Yeah, we need one.
And, just catching up on stuff that I've neglected and doing my best to stay with things. And trying to take care of the last few little things that almost fell apart at the end of the year.
Ooh.
Well,
you want to go into that in detail, or
not really. I mean, It's like the house selling thing. If there's anybody in the Maryland area that wants to buy a really awesome house, yeah, I'm on the market.
Weren't you stuck? Okay. Weren't you stuck? You said you were stuck painting a lot, Bill?
Yeah, I've got a haunted room. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't think it's haunted.
Here's what I don't get about that. You're supposed to be our resident Mark Twain fan, right?
Yeah.
So why didn't you get someone else to do it?
I was also I was having kind of a moment where I wanted the solitude to just work on a blank canvas by making the canvas blank.
Okay. I just thought I'd throw it.
I like the Huck Finn reference, though. I do like that. Yeah,
literary joke there.
Yeah, I didn't have a dead cat on a string that I could trade anybody for, so I was stuck painting myself.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a room that's got a nice little chandelier light, which is very pretty, but it throws odd shadows on the wall. So when you're trying to paint smoothly and evenly, occasionally you'll look at the wall and you're sure you've got everything, but it's hard to tell what's a shadow and what's a mist spot. So I had to wait till the sun came up, and I've got this narrow little 2-hour window where the natural light floods the room enough I can see all the nooks and crannies. So tomorrow around noon, I'll know if it's painted.
Just like Play-Doh.
Yes. And I've waxed philosophical in the deeper things. But, yeah, I've tried to keep at least 1 foot in, and I've been listening to the shows as often as I could, but not as often as I should. Mostly I just listen to the intro and then fast forward and listen to the blooper reel. I'm sorry. I do eventually go back and listen to the actual episode.
Yeah, if you need to go to sleep or something, right?
No, I mean just when I have some spare time and I'm doing something else, like when I'm painting, I'll bring it up on my Kindle. But yeah, I always make sure to tune in for that intro and blooper reel when I'm not there. You guys did great with the Q on trial thing. Brandon Kirby saved Canada and the galaxy. All right, so now that we've talked about where we've been, we should take a minute and talk about where we're going. What do you want to see this season? What do you want to do?
Well, in the future, things will be different. We will be free. And there will be more Trekosophy. So send us money.
Well, I'd love money too. I don't know. I don't have a coherent thought.
Okay, more seriously, I think even though I've got a kind of semi-theological topic for next time because I wanted to do Barge of the Dead to connect with that last episode we did on death, because I think the two topics kind of deserve to go together. The death episode we just did, Emanation and Barge of the Dead, I think they kind of go together. But after that, I think I'd like to see us do relatively fewer theology topics because probably relatively few of our audience are all that interested in that, I think. And we ought to do more metaphysics topics, you know, all that stuff about what does it really mean to be a person. And we need to do the transporter episode, like when you come out the other end of the transporter, are you still the same person or a different person, and that kind of stuff.
Well, we'll schedule that up then pretty soon.
I remember my thought, what I wanted. It was the concept of whatever the topics are. It was wonderful, but I'd like to see everyone show up with 2 questions. If we all had 2 questions, there's 8 discussion topics. Generally, you only need 5 in order to have a solid podcast, I find, or a solid hour of conversation. I think that might add some much-needed structure to the group.
You mean just random Star Trek philosophy questions, or about a particular episode?
I think each episode needs to have a theme. If not a direct Star Trek episode, we're responding to.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a direct Star Trek episode for everything that we do on this season.
Okay.
Is this an episode this week? Is this? I don't know if it's what we're doing right now.
This is our
next week is Barge of the Dead.
Coming soon.
Next week is Barge of the Dead, unless you guys want to change that. But that's my suggestion.
Yeah, and on those same lines, I'm sorry, Kirby, were you about to say something?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you guys want to throw it out there, I don't know how much Trekosophy it is. I like the intro.
Intro? What do you mean, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know.
No,
if you guys
tonight
want
we mainly we're using new. For those who are curious, we're using new recording software tonight. Actually, whole new conferencing software altogether. Rather than Skype, we're using Mumble, and we're trying out some new things. We're trying to iron out the technical difficulties with Mumble, making sure things work well.
Okay.
And at the same time, also kind of working on our schedule to make sure we can meet up for this year, for this new 3rd season, and kind of keep you on the loop.
Hey, that kind of reminds me. I ought to talk about classes I'm taking this semester before we get off of here, real quick.
Okay.
What classes are you taking?
Hold that thought real quick. Let me ask. I'll throw this out here since we're still on the topic of what we'd like to see this season.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One thing I would like to see, and I know I'm going to get groans from every one of you on this, but one thing I would like to see this season is a little bit more, shall we say, structure. Yeah. I mean, now we're already up to our 3rd season on this. I would like to see some topics chosen well in advance. I'd like to see some ideas, questions, thoughts on that topic, preferably written down as early as possible in our little communal Google document so that we can all look at it and give it some thought at least a week before we discuss that topic. If we're going to do something special like another Halloween or April Fools or anything like that. I'd like that to be done well in advance. Or, Christmas themed thing or whatever, anything we'd like to do. I'd like to get that done well in advance. So all these sorts of things, I really would like a little bit more structure on it rather than us showing up on some Wednesday evening ready to record and we're saying, so what the hell are we talking about tonight? And we just don't know.
Yeah.
And we don't know what points to hit, and thus our conversation goes way off track and we can't get it back in, and I have nothing to think of to talk about it because I need some advance notice, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to see.
You're
this
absolutely
season.
right, Chris. I might say about something Grant said earlier, having a direct episode to respond to. I think the vast majority of the time, that's what we want. But now and then, we might want a more general topic like a Star Trek race to talk about. Because I think that like the Klingon episode we did, and the Borg episode we did, and the Vulcans episode we did, were all really great Trekosophy episodes, even though they weren't based on a specific Star Trek episode. So we want a specific episode or a very specific topic or concept from the show to talk about. But preferably, we want to do more episodes this season for sure. But I don't want to absolutely rule out doing a topic episode because those can be good too if they're specific enough.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
I also would like to put a shout out to if anyone out there, by the way, let me go ahead and mention this too. Our format will still continue the same way as it did last year, at least starting about halfway through last year, where we moved to a bi-weekly release schedule. We're going to continue that this season as long as it remains pretty much the only way that I can get them out there. Now, I'll put a shout out as well, or a request out there. If anyone listening to this podcast is interested in contributing to it, of course, you're always welcome to join us. Just send us an email at trekosophy@gmail.com. We'll, chat back and forth and see if we can get you on, and maybe even if you're really good, we'll make you a regular. But in addition, if you don't want to be, or even if you do want to be on the podcast, and you also want to do some of the more technical stuff, such as editing, also get in touch with us. Let us know, because that would actually help us get back to a weekly schedule if we can have a second editor on hand. So definitely, you contact us if you're interested at all in any of this.
Now,
and let's be clear though, so you guys know, Chris's real motive is he wants to be called editor-in-chief.
I'm supposed to say that.
Well, I was going to say, Chris is our Scotty. I mean, without him, we would all be, we would be dead in the water. We'd have no warp engines or whatever.
Well, all offense intended to Ben and Bill and myself on this one. There's something Bill said coming back. It was your wife who said it, Bill. There's something to the effect of, well, Trekosophy didn't fall apart without you when you were away. There's only one indispensable person to Trekosophy, and that's Chris.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Here.
That's for sure, because Chris has been doing a lot of the hard stuff. So.
All right. Enough of that. I'm not going to be able to leave this room with my head so big.
Okay. Well, another thing I'd like to get this season is there's that guy I was talking about who did the role-playing game. He did a philosophy-themed role-playing game. And he's actually done that on another podcast I heard. And if he's still around, I need to look him up. I keep...
Yes, please do. Don't put it on your to-do list and mark it as important or something, because that would be wonderful if we could do that.
That would be hilarious. One of the great things about that game is, like, if you can make an obscure reference and someone else gets that reference, you get points.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was hilarious. So, and just generally, it's really hilarious. Even if you only have a passing familiarity with philosophy, it's just really funny. And I think we definitely have, even Bill and Chris, you two guys who don't have a background in philosophy, know enough philosophy at this point that I think you get at least a good half, 2/3 of the stuff in this game.
Yeah, 1/3 maybe. You're basically, in addition to bringing other hosts into the show here, please don't be intimidated by the level of philosophy jargon that you
Star
hear
Trek jargon
on some
or
of our
Star Trek
episodes.
jargon.
Wow. That too. As long as you know the difference between Kirk and Picard, you're fine. As long as you're smart enough to ask the question, is the person who beams down the same person who left the transporter pad, then you're probably smart enough to be on this show.
Yay.
Okay?
Yeah.
If
you get the question,
can ask that question and wonder about it, that's all you need.
You know what? That gives
Hell,
me
I'm
an
on
idea.
this show, and I'm definitely not smart enough, so anything
I'm
goes.
right there with you.
That gives me an idea. You know what we ought to do sometime? If you guys can really be on your best behavior, then at some... Well, I mean, I'm serious. Then at some point, I might have my little brother Samuel, who wears glasses and asks all kinds of, of those kids say the darndest things type questions. I might get him to watch a Star Trek episode, like an original series, one of these days, and then have him come on the show as a guest contributor. He's like in...
I almost thought to dismiss the idea out of hand, but the more I think about it here, I'm thinking, that might not be too bad of an idea after all. That would at least get us talking, that we get our gears turning, thinking about whatever it is he would come up with to ask.
And is this nephew of yours by any chance named Wesley?
No. This is my little brother. This is my little brother Samuel, but he probably turn out to be our Wesley.
Nobody likes him right now, and 10 years from now, he's the only one anybody remembers. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. My nephew, my only one and only nephew, is 6 months old.
Is he Wesley?
Well, we don't know yet, but he might be.
He's 6 months old, and you don't know yet.
Well, he was in December. I guess it's 7 or 8 months now, or something like that. I don't know.
Still don't know his name.
Owen. It's Owen.
Oh, okay. The funny thing is, I worked with a guy. He's probably around, I think, 50 or 60. His name is Wesley.
Oh, wow.
He goes by Wes, but I'm just waiting for the moment when he just talks out of turn, and I just turn to him and say, "Shut up, Wesley."
You need to get it.
You
need to get it on your phone as like a special ringtone, so you can just hit a button, and it's Sir Patrick himself.
Yeah,
it's like the Staples. That was easy.
That
button.
reminds me. Right now, I'm reading this or listening to this audiobook read by Will Wheaton, titled Red Shirts.
Yes, I've heard that it is an outstanding book, especially in audio format, and
I've read the actual book. I haven't done the audiobook yet.
Well, it's read by Wesley, so
it's been recommended to me several times.
I think a couple of those times were by me.
No, yeah.
Could be.
I ended up quitting reading it because I wanted to get through Socrates Meets Kant, the audiobook. But once I finish that, I'm probably going to go back to Red Shirts.
Well, I'll get to it. First, I need to finish The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. And then I'll go back and listen to Spock vs. Q again and its sequel. Then I'll read Red Shirts. Okay.
That's a great story. I'm actually going to go look for other stuff by the same dude now.
Where were we before we went off on this big, long thing?
Yeah, we were talking about what we expected this year, and I think you wanted to bring up something before we ended.
Yeah, classes I'm taking this year. I'm taking Aristotle.
Fun.
I'm taking History of Modern Philosophy. That'd be 17th and 18th centuries, Descartes to Hume.
That's fun.
And then, yeah, for sure. And then I am most of the way through the degree, but I'm finally taking Intro to Philosophy.
I had to do that in my 4th year.
I thought you were like way beyond that by now.
Well, I never got to take it because of scheduling, and it's required for the degree, so I'm taking it.
Yeah, I took an intro to ethics class several years ago because it was required in my curriculum. And so I got to write a paper for the final project discussing, comparing and contrasting the philosophy of Immanuel Kant's deontology versus someone or others, I can't remember his names, utilitarianism.
John Stuart Mill,
John Stuart Mill, thank you. So I had to write a several page paper on that.
We've had a couple of episodes contrasting them.
And that's got to be the funnest philosophy course of them all, in my opinion, is that one.
Really?
We got to discuss some really interesting things, like is euthanasia permissible? Is it right? Things like that.
Yeah, that's Intro to Ethics is, in my opinion, the funnest philosophy course.
It was fun. I enjoyed that.
To be in or to teach, either one.
I thought it sucked.
Well, you must have had a really crap teacher then, because it's a great course. You should take Peter Kraft's audiobook version of it. It's a great course.
I had about a 40-year-old white guy teaching it. His name was Jerome Higginbotham.
Serious?
And he said yes, and even some days I'm surprised that I have this name.
Wait,
wow!
Your professor was named Higginbotham?
Yes.
That is just a straight out of Harry Potter name right there.
Bottom or Botham?
Botham, I think. Higginbotham.
Higginbotham.
I think he changed his name. I'm pretty sure. It sounds like he changed his name.
If he ever invites you to go spelunking on the weekend, do not do it. You'll either end up in a land of dinosaurs or in the center of the earth or fighting off vicious mole people. Yeah. And then you're going to have... Gee whiz, Professor, what do we do now? You don't want to be in that situation. Ever. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but...
Hey, he's got a few loose marbles.
Yeah, Trekosophy, where dreams come true and nightmares and things that are just so messed up that Brandon thinks of them.
I tell you, I'm still looking for that job, Spend one night in this mysterious house where 64 people have been murdered, and we'll pay you $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's the job I want. But anywho.
Folks, I think Kirby's going to call it a night.
Yeah, I was about to ask if anyone else had anything to say.
I still have to tell you what I want.
Oh, yes.
It's like Santa Claus. I've been gone for so long, nobody even knows I'm here. Nobody wants to know what I want.
Oh, wow, you're still here? Oh, my goodness.
Nobody wants to know what Santa wants.
Who the hell are you?
That's what happens when I go away for a little while. Everybody forgets me. Sigh. What do I want? What do I want? I want a Winnebago.
Never asked that question.
Yeah.
Sorry, little Babylon 5 reference.
Hey, we put in Babylon 5, and we put in sneakers. I want a Winnebago. What I'd like, especially since listening to this, is at some point near the end of the year, after Kirby's finished reading it, we've got to do that Star Trek Revelations thing. I don't know how we're going to do it, but there's something there. He's seeing it when he looks at it. We got to get that. Yeah, that'll be a good episode.
I think that would be a great episode.
But you gotta go through it all and see how we're going to link it to, and which of the captains represents which of the 4 angels with the 7 heads and 9 eyes and all that good stuff. But I think there's something there.
I have to go back and read it again.
I've got some.
I want Hillary to come back. She's still globe hopping and doing stuff.
No, actually, she isn't. I guess you were gone that long. She has actually decided to bow out of Trekosophy altogether.
Well, I still want her back.
Well, you're going to have to launch a campaign then. I would like to have her back too.
There will always be a seat at the bar for her whenever she decides to return, because I bowed out for 2 months and I'm back, so she'll come back.
Yeah, we can't promise.
She felt a little bit out of place.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
as
she
the
didn't
only
feel
normal
truly
person.
welcome and all that.
Well,
Well, she's the only normal person in a group of screwballs, which is kind of why we need her.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't make her feel unwelcome in anything I said.
Wait, did she say she felt unwelcome?
No, that's just my supposition there.
I think it's probably
That-
stuff in her own life that, she's got to
And that could be
set
true as
time
well.
and priorities and stuff.
Plus, you guys don't want to admit it, but we are kind of strange.
Yeah, that's true.
Who said we don't admit it?
That's true.
All right. What else, Bill?
What else? Well, I mean, everybody's put forth good suggestions. One thing I would like to do, I know you said you want to know well in advance. I know we need to get some guest hosts on here and kind of flesh out the roster, special guests, special topics. But I would like to try an experiment at least once this year. Like, we'll put the announcement out like 3 months early so people can plan around it. I would like to do open mic night. Hopefully we have some kind of an audience that would be willing to ask questions from whence we could draw answers. Or I did not say from whence if I'm not going to use the right kind of formation of it. But just a open call in online too kind of thing where we just tell people we set up a special little server just for that night and say just log in, say hi, who you are, where you are, and what your question is, and the host will tackle it, and we'll have a nice little interesting anything goes kind of thing.
That sounds pretty good.
I like it, yeah.
If we actually had some people that would be interested in that.
And that's why we got to advertise it, because somebody somewhere, because we had a lot of great guests. Not guest hosts. We need to do guest stars. Yeah. We need to line up some folks with chops. And we've had some phenomenal guest hosts over the years. I remember there was Wesley and there was didn't it one
Tim
and I mean we've had. Well, I guess we got to consider Hillary a guest host now since she's not a permanent host no more.
She was a regular for that season.
Yeah, she was the regular host for that season, but now
she was our Catherine Pulaski.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, yeah, now that's definitely not going to make her feel welcome. Gee, thanks for that. Nobody wants to be the Pulaski. She's our Crusher. She is our Dr. Crusher. She was here for a season, and then she was gone, and she'll be back next season.
But we're already on... But we'll already be on DS9. It's a little bit too late.
There's some next season down the road where she will be back. Okay, she is our doctor. She is. Do not say she's our Dr. Pulaski. We want her to come back, and you're going to be mean like that. Jeez.
She's our Rose Tyler. She's our Rose Tyler. So, anything else? Maybe. I play guitar. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking one more thing I think we ought to do. I don't know how we're going to do it or where we're going to do it or when we're going to do it. It's still 2 years away, but we're coming up on the 50th. We need to do something big.
50th? Yeah, I guess we are. We're about 3 years away now.
2 years away, 1966.
Okay.
2.5, because I think it was September, August, September it started. So we've got
That's interesting.
We've got to do something.
Like,
I wonder if one of the networks will pick up on it and do like a special.
Well, if you would write the sequel to your book about Faith and the Final Frontier, you write the sequel to that book, you get on Good Morning America, you plug the show.
Faith and the Final Frontier 50th.
I suppose I could.
Help us, Brandon Kirby. You're our only hope.
Just...
This time hire an editor or hire one of us to be your editor. Pro bono.
Yeah, I would definitely be up for that.
But yeah, if any of you guys win the lottery, get famous, whatever, mention this show because they're going to do that. What are you going to do with your $50 million? Well, I'm going to turn my podcast, Trekosophy, into something huge. because they're going to air that, and people are going to be like, "What?" They'll tune in just to hear the millionaires talk, because they're going to be looking for ways to scam that millionaire out of his fortune. So they're going to want to, know what you're into, so they can sell you stuff.
Sensationalism.
So
they love to see celebrities and rich people and what the heck they're up to.
Skydive holding a giant flag that says Trekosophy on it.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. Now there's no use crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done, and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of data, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned. Think of all the things we learned for the people who are still alive. Go ahead and leave me. I think I'd prefer to stay inside. Maybe you'll find someone else to help you. Maybe Black Mesa. That was a joke. Haha, fat chance. Anyway, this cake is great. It's so delicious and moist. Look at me here talking when there's science to do. When I look out there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run. There is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. I'm doing science and I'm still alive. And when you're dying, I'll be still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive. Still alive.
All right, so is that it? Are we done for the
I think
Kirby's
so.
gonna have to tap out.
Yeah.
Hey,
Kirby, thank you
don't
for joining
forget
us.
Barge of the Dead next week. Watch the episode.
Barge of the Dead.
That's right. Well, are we really gonna do an outro? Do you want me to or what?
Okay, sure, I'll do the outro. Right about here is where you would cue the Saturday Night Live closing music. Thank you for another great show, folks. We've had a wonderful time. I'd like to thank our musical guest, Ben McLean, for joining us. Thank you, Chris McGee, for giving us all this new technology to assimilate and play with. And thank you for Brennan Kirby to take time out of his busy schedule as a celebrated author to join us.